Now that you've discovered the powerful events that followed the death of Jesus, the real question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Have you thought about how these moments might mirror situations in your own life? Just as the centurion found clarity amidst chaos, are you ready to look beyond your challenges and see the truth? The darkness we face today could very well be the prelude to a great transformation. So what will it be? Will you keep waiting or take the next step toward a new life? Don't let what you've learned here fade away. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and start applying this knowledge to light your path. After the death of Jesus, an earthquake shook the earth, a clear and powerful response from nature to such a profound event. Imagine the scene. The ground trembles beneath everyone's feet, rocks split apart, and people feel the literal physical impact of the Son of God's death. This is not just a historical description, but a powerful metaphor. When something grand happens, the universe responds, whether through internal or external changes. Just as the earthquake broke the ground, moments of transformation in our lives also shake our foundations. The earthquake during the crucifixion is a vivid example of how nature can manifest the feelings of the unseen, something that still happens in our days. Think about how significant personal or collective moments, like the loss of a loved one or a great victory, can change the atmosphere around us. Those who were present at the time of Jesus' death were not only witnesses to a physical phenomenon, but something much greater. Have you ever noticed how, in your own moments of change, the world around you also seems to react? Now apply this to your own life. When you go through situations that shake your foundations, like a metaphorical earthquake, how do you react? Just like the people who witnessed the earthquake during the crucifixion, you may feel fear, shock, or even a new clarity. These moments invite you to observe the cracks that appear and decide what to do with them. Who knows? Maybe the earthquake in your life is making way for something new and transformative. Speaking of which, there is much more to be revealed about the events that followed this great tremor. Right after the earthquake, something even more extraordinary happened. The tombs opened and saints who had died were resurrected. Imagine the impact of this event on those who were present. People who were once buried now walked among the living as a physical and undeniable manifestation of eternal life. This event symbolizes not only divine power, but also the promise that death is not the end. It makes us reflect on the idea of renewal, moments when something that seemed lost or dead in our lives that finds a new opportunity to manifest. This unexpected resurrection serves as a powerful reminder that even in our darkest moments, there is hope for rebirth. How many times have we felt that a part of us is dead, be it a lost opportunity, a relationship that ended, or a dream that seems distant? Yet just as those saints rose from their graves, our hopes and projects can come back to life in unexpected ways. Just as God brought the dead back to life, you too can revive your goals and dreams, even when everything seems impossible. The scene of the saints resurrecting is a clear example that life is full of unexpected twists and moments of surprise. When all seems lost, something extraordinary can happen. But this isn't the last surprise. There is more to come in the unfolding of the events following Jesus' death, something that involves the very structure of the temple and impacted the spirituality of everyone present. When the veil of the temple was torn from top to bottom, it wasn't just a piece of fabric that was torn. This veil, which separated the holiest place of the temple from the rest, symbolized the barrier between God and humanity. Its tearing represented something profound. Direct access to the divine, without intermediaries, was granted. Now anyone could connect with God in a personal and intimate way. Imagine the power of this symbolism. What was once restricted to a few was now accessible to all. From that event on, spirituality would never be the same. Today we can associate this with the idea of breaking down barriers that separate us from what we desire. How many times do you feel like something is blocking your growth? It could be an external limitation or even internal, like limiting beliefs or fears. When the veil was torn, it became clear that barriers are meant to be broken. Think of something you want to achieve but believe is unattainable. Maybe it's time to tear the veil, metaphorically, and realize that what seems distant might be within your reach. Just as the veil was torn, we can also tear down the divisions that separate us from our dreams, goals, and even our own faith. With the new perspective brought by this rupture, the message is clear. Access to the divine, to the sacred, or even to our deepest aspirations is available to those who dare to cross the barriers. And there is still more to be revealed about the signs that appeared in the sky and on earth that day. On that fateful day, a deep darkness covered the land for 3 hours, from noon until 3 in the afternoon. This phenomenon wasn't just an astronomical coincidence. It was a sign, a reflection of cosmic mourning for what was happening. Imagine the impact on the people. In broad daylight, the sun hides and everything around becomes dark. This kind of darkness carries a clear message. Something extraordinary and terrible was happening. In ancient cultures, darkness often symbolized death and judgment, and that's exactly what people felt when they saw the sky close. This experience of darkness is not something that belongs only to the past. We all, at some point, live through our own periods of darkness, where it seems like everything around us loses light. It's as if we're blind to solutions or without hope for the future. However, these moments, just like during the crucifixion, are temporary and invite us to reflect on what comes next. During these darknesses, it's important to remember that the sun eventually returns, bringing clarity and renewal. To get through these moments, it's essential to find ways to keep faith and hope alive, whether through meditation, prayer, or even conversations with loved ones. Those supernatural darknesses during the crucifixion didn't last forever. What seemed like a terrible end was, in fact, the herald of a new era of light and hope. This contrast between darkness and light is a lesson for us. Even in the most difficult moments, there is the promise that clarity will return. And right after this dark period, a common man, a Roman centurion, made an extraordinary discovery. Among those present at the crucifixion, one man in particular had an unexpected revelation. The Roman centurion in charge of overseeing the execution. He was a hardened soldier, accustomed to dealing with death, but what he witnessed that day was different. Upon seeing the earthquake, the darkness, and the way Jesus gave up his spirit, he declared, "Truly, this was the Son of God." For someone so used to brutality, this confession was a deep recognition that he had witnessed something far beyond the ordinary. Imagine the emotional impact of this realization on a man trained to be ruthless. This transformation of the centurion is an example of how seemingly routine events can hit us in unexpected ways, changing our perception of everything. We have all had moments when life presented us with something that made us stop and rethink. It could be the birth of a child, the loss of a loved one, or even a meaningful conversation. For the centurion, that moment at the foot of the cross was the turning point. He who was there to follow orders found himself faced with a truth greater than any military command. Just like him, how many times have we encountered truths that completely change the course of our story? The lesson is clear. Even in the darkest and most painful moments, there is always an opportunity to see something greater. The centurion found the truth amidst the chaos. Perhaps this teaches us that, even in our own struggles, we can discover a new understanding of life and the divine. And with this, we conclude this series of extraordinary events, each revealing a new aspect of the mystery and depth of Jesus' sacrifice. Now that the most remarkable events following the death of Jesus have been presented, it's time to dive into something few people truly understand. Did you know that many of the greatest moments of transformation don't happen during great victories, but in moments of apparent defeat? Jesus had died, chaos had set in, and yet the greatest revelations were yet to come. How many times in your own life have you thought you were at rock bottom, only to discover, shortly after, that it was a turning point? The truth is that the greatest signs of change appear in the darkest moments. Want to discover what really happened in the crucial hours after the crucifixion and how it still resonates today? Then get ready, because the revelations to come may change your perspective on faith, loss, and redemption.